let's talk about what I do for my period. Oh, woo! Out of all the videos I ever create, I really hope that this is heard by many, many women over the years. This is what I do for my period. And if you're new to your period, congratulations. Let's get to it. These are the basics. I stick to the basics. I know some girlies have really, really bad health issues concerning their period, and I don't know if this will be right for you, but this is what I do. Something you can put in the microwave for that first 2 days before you start bleeding to the day you're bleeding. Those are the most painful for me. The cramps are intense, they're ferocious. No, it's not just the first day, it's usually the day before, the day of, and 2 days later. I'm out for the count for about 4 days solid. And if I'm going to work during that time, it pushes it to about 8 days. And if I'm really going through it at that time, working a lot, it pushes it to 12 days. So ladies, be aware that if you are pushing yourself very hard during your period, it will make your period worse. Quick fix when it first hits you. Ibuprofen, I cannot recommend you how much you should take. Please advise your doctor, or be smart. Read the label. This I pop in real quick. This in case there are any migraines, headaches, or severe discomfort in the head, which that is brought upon a lot of women during this time of the month. But it's mainly connected to a lack of vitamins, nutrients, and water, honey. If you're having terrible migraines, you might be deficient on all those things, including sleep and rest. And also it might be your job, career, where you are in life, and the man you're with. That can also cause migraines. Anyways, this is great, popping it in the freezer and then sliding the tube sock right over your head, and then you comatose. It's great. It's a wonderful thing. I don't know how much it is, but I'm sure it's on Amazon. It's on the internets, and I'm sorry I recommended Amazon. I should cut my tongue. Now, I have 2 sizes of these. 2 sizes of these, one for the back, one for the front, that just covers my whole stomach. Yes, this is over a decade old. I've been having my period for quite some time now. So you basically boil water and you fill these babies up, okay? And you slap them on. You do have to wrap them in a towel. They are extremely hot. Please don't burn yourself. I've seen the burns that women do to their bodies because of their period cramps, and that's... I hope we see a day where women's pain and menstrual cycles are taken seriously, because that's just sad. Castor oil. This is something I will recommend for many things, actually, and keep it in a bag, because I have learned through mistake that it will ruin everything no matter what. It's going to leak out some way. So it is great for smothering. You're going to be a greasy, lathered up grease ball during your period if you follow my instructions. And it feels right. To me, it feels right. So basically, I wrap one of these babies up in a towel that you don't mind ruining, because this oil will ruin anything it touches. That's why my sweatpants are stained. Have you noticed how all my sweatpants are stained? Because baby, I am putting those, wrapping them up, lathering up with castor oil, and I'm slapping it on that uterus. All right, and I'm stuffing it in those sweatpants, and I'm walking around with that thing. Well, mostly I'm not walking around, because like I said, it's just, my periods aren't that great. And they had been the worst when I was doing delivery driving for FedEx, and when I was standing on my feet for 10 hours. And, well, anything that was super labor intensive, my periods were terrible. And there'd be spotting throughout the month. And I know it's not pregnancy, because I ain't nobody. Anyways. Take women's health seriously, even if it's for yourself and you are taking it seriously. So I hope you were able to learn something through this. This is what, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. This is for the adult ladies that are over the age of 21 in the US. This is a hemp company. This is the hemp company, and it is 15 milligrams of CBD and CBG. So this has nothing to do with getting high. It's about soothing the muscles, okay? So this, which is been used, severe use, and Something like this, ladies, will help you a lot. This is not for a high. This is not for, you know, being out of your mind. This is for your body. Juana, what's up? This is great. This hits the spot during this time for me. Appreciate you. These are my recommendations. These are the bare basics, and they shouldn't cost you too much. I'm sorry if you have to find things on Amazon. I will forgive you as I've forgiven myself. But we need to boycott that. Anyways, peace be to you all. I wouldn't recommend using this too much because putting something in the microwave and putting it on your actual flesh bag isn't the best for you. It's best to do with natural water. That's why I don't do any electric period heaters. I used to, but for one, they barely stay hot for long, and these last forever. These will last you some heat for a good straight 5-6 hours, and you can just comatose with this over your head on these or some ibuprofen, honey, and I promise you, as long as you can lay down and find some peace and rest for yourself, you're gonna feel better. Just make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you've taken your supplements. Iron, specifically, take your iron. Your magnesium, you're gonna need that. Taking magnesium is going to help lessen those cramps, okay? Your body needs oxygen, water, nutrients, and rest. Focus on that for you, for a healthier, happier you. Anyways, if you want to continue watching, this next clip is of me reading from a book that I've been recommending that will teach you so much about womanhood, so much about history, the history of women, and I wholeheartedly suggest it. Yes, and also Marina Butterfly, that just came out. You guys should watch that. At first I wasn't digging it because it's super girly, but then I was like, I'm digging this. I was feeling it. Thank you, YouTube, for recommending that. Legit. So yeah, if you want to watch me read very nervously, my heart was pitter-pattering. I get very scared when I read in front of people, so FYI, it might not be an easy watch, but you will learn something, I can promise you that. To give context of the part I'm going to read in this book, and yes, I'm going to be giving spoilers, I just want to share this before I tell y'all about what I do for my period, because I think it's a piece of womanhood history that needs to be learned from, observed, and not forgotten. So this is the story of Dina. It's from her perception of living in these biblical times and what they used to do traditionally for women's menstrual cycles. And allow me. She just found out she started her period, okay? This is what's running through her head. It seemed I had been waiting forever for womanhood, and yet I did not jump up to tell my mothers. I stayed where I was, on my haunches, hidden by branches, thinking, my childhood is over. I will wear an apron and cover my head. I will not have to carry and fetch during the new moon anymore, but will sit with the rest of the women until I am pregnant. I will idle with my mothers and sisters in the ruddy shade of the red tent for 3 days and 3 nights, until the first sight of the crescent goddess. My blood will flow into the fresh straw, filling the air with salt and the smell of women. For a moment I weighed the idea of keeping my secret and remaining a girl, but the thought passed quickly. I could only be what I was, and I was a woman. I raised myself up, my fingers stained with the first sight of my maturity, and realized there was indeed a dull ache in my bowels. With new pride, I carried myself into the tent, knowing that swelling breast would no longer be a joke among the women. Now I will be welcome inside any tent when Rachel and Inna attended at a birth. Now I could pour out the wine and make bread offerings at the new moon, and soon I will learn the secrets that pass between men and women. I walked into the red tent without the water I'd been sent for, but before my mother could open her mouth to scold me, I held up my soiled fingers. I am not permitted to carry anything either, Mother. Oh, she said. Who, for once, had no words. She kissed me on both cheeks, and my aunts gathered around and took turns greeting me with more kisses. My sisters-in-law clapped their hands, and everyone began talking at once. Anna ran in to find out what the noise was about, and I was surrounded by smiling faces. I'm getting nervous reading in front of people. I don't think you understand. This is actually like scary for me. I can yip yap all I want. on the internet. Like, that doesn't scare me. Stage fright behind a camera typically doesn't scare me, but reading in front of the camera and knowing people are going to... I was told I was stupid a lot growing up. That's why I didn't read until I was like 12 years old and didn't feel comfortable reading in front of people until I was over 20. Yeah, I was told I was stupid a lot, and it made me think I was really stupid, so I didn't try. So anyways, please bear with me when I start getting nervous, because I'm already feeling like I'm gonna faint at this point. Can you tell? No? Yeah, I wear a mask really well, don't I? Thanks, I'm used to it. I was almost born with one, straight out of the frickin' hole. Okay, Okay, so it was Inna ran in to find out what the noise was about, and I was surrounded by smiling faces. It was nearly dark, and my ceremony began almost before I realized what was happening. Inna brought a polished metal cup filled with fortified wine, so dark and sweet I could barely taste its power. But my head soon floated while my mothers prepared me with henna on the bottoms of my feet and on my palms. Unlike a bride, they painted a line of red from my feet up to my sex, her vagina, and from my hands they made a pattern of spots that led to my navel, my tummy. They put kohl on my eyes so you will be far-seeing, said Leah, and perfumed my forehead and my armpits. So you will walk among flowers, said Rachel. They removed my bracelets and took my robe from me. It must have been the wine that prevented me from asking why they took such care with paint and scent, yet dressed me in the rough, homespun gown used for women in childbirth and as a shroud for the afterbirth. They were so kind to me, so funny, so sweet. They would not let me feed myself, but I used their fingers to fill my mouth with their choicest morsels. They massaged my neck and back until I was supple as a cat. They sang every song known among us. My mother kept my wine cup filled and brought it to my lips so often that soon I found it difficult to speak, and the voices around me melted into a loud, happy hum. Zebulun's wife, Ahava, danced with her pregnant belly to the clapping of hands. I laughed until my sides ached. I smiled until my face hurt. It was good to be a woman. Then Rachel brought out the trifferium and everyone fell silent. That's where I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. Why did I bring up that part? Why did I bring up that paragraph? Let me explain. What does that paragraph mean to me? I don't know how your experience was when your period started, or if it hasn't started yet. My experience was really nothing. Go put a pad on. Okay, it started. I think you knew you were going to bleed. You're a girl. Go put a pad on. I mean, that's savage if somebody gave you a tampon as soon as you started. If you started your first bleed and someone gave you a tampon to use. I hope they at least explain things to you. But yeah, so reading this book is what's opening my eyes to the fact that we have lost so much in old traditions when it comes to womanhood. And it's sad. Because if you read that book, which I full-heartedly recommend, since our current system and culture is based around greed, let's just admit it, it's based around conquer, greed, and yes, the toxic masculinity side of spiritual views. There's no queen, and all the healthiest systems are, there's a queen, honey. There's a queen bee, and she is kind and she is wise. And that book shows you if women are brought up respecting and honoring and rejoicing womanhood and having each other's back. Like, don't get me wrong, if you read that book, you're going to see how fucked up it was too, in worse ways that aren't as easily done. Like, we have improved in some ways, but in other ways we've gotten darker. I would love to hold a commune of where we rejoice and also support each other during our times of need and our times of where we would be in that red tent relaxing, working on spindles, sitting on that straw, singing songs of our people, passing down history, gossiping. Us ladies love to gossip, and we talk about you men because we love you. And you admit it. You talk about us too because you're just obsessed and you love us too, but you hate to love us. Anyways, this is my message for today, was that paragraph, and hopefully bringing some awareness to the fact that it's not gross. It shouldn't be something put in the closet and shrouded with darkness. This is a part of life. We need to respect the women's bodies. We need to respect what they go through and embrace it. And we really need to be there for each other. And if I ever had a daughter, I would give her some good talks. That would be the time to talk about womanhood. How to guard your heart, guard your body, how valuable you are. Celebrate her. And also guide her with as much wisdom and guidance as you can. Not because you want to shape her into the perfect doll accessory that you can carry along with her to be the perfect thing to make you look so good, but because you want her to rule the world. You want her to be prepared and know that she has women to back her up. That is something I did not have. And I think that crushes a lot in the strength of a person, of a woman, when they feel that they are alone and shunned because they're a woman. And now they're not rejoiced by the women around them, but instead they're seen as competition. That's sick. That's a sickness in women, is the covetedness, the jealousy, the envy. I'm sorry you weren't rejoiced in your womanhood. I'm sorry you didn't have the tradition and the culture that has been ripped from us. But do not tear down other women, because we had it rough. And we're only going to continue to have it rough if we're at each other's throats. And also it's through the eyes of a young woman growing up in this type of culture and traditions and stuff like that. So she just started her period in this sector of the book. If you want to read this separately and not have any spoilers, stop watching. I'm going to spoil some of it because I feel there is a very good lesson that I want to talk to you about. And it's vital. It's a vital lesson, okay? When it comes to our period and seeing it in a different way. A way that was lost, and it should have stayed with us to honor these times of the month. Okay? It's spiritual and it means a lot to me. Hey FedEx, how you doing? You guys suck. Well, not the people, but the corporation. Anyways, can we get on track here? Come on, let's go.